Hello and welcome to Not Only Books, Episode 5. Today we will be talking about our ATLA Scripture Search. But first, I just want to kind of remind the viewers what is Not Only Books about. It is about using a library for more than just books. Libraries have lots of resources available to you, things that you normally wouldn't expect. And so as we go through this podcast, we are trying to introduce to the viewers what kind of things you can find in a library, how to use them, and how to make the most of their research opportunities. So that's why we're Not Only Books, because we look at more than just books every time we come together. But today, we're going to listen to Craig Kubik talk about ATLA Scripture Search.
Right. It's something that most theological students and professors of religion want to know because their studies are based in the Scripture. And we have some very nice things to show today that will help our viewers quickly get around and find some comprehensive areas. So let's get started if we can. So we want to begin our search today by going to our Southwestern website to find how to get to the research points. Now, let's say if you are a viewer and you are not at a seminary, you may not have this tool.
Right.
This particular tool is found most often with a seminary or Bible school. Could be a university that has a religious background where they subscribe to this particular database.
Okay.
So we're going to look at ATLA Scripture Search and then a few other areas.
So before you go on, can you remind us, what does ATLA stand for?
ATLA stands for the American Theological Library Association.
Okay.
That is a group of people, librarians, who work in seminaries, Bible schools, or the university. They could be the liaison person who works with the Department of Religious Studies.
Okay.
So it's not only Christianity, it could be other religions that come under, a worldwide view.
Okay. All right.
All right. So we're looking at Southwestern's website, Southwestern Baptist Seminary, and we're going to I'm going to use baptism to start my search, just to get us to the point where we can actually look at the scriptures. So I'm going to type in baptism. The section I want you to see is found on the left side at the bottom. It is called the ATLA Scripture Search. Just as Jason mentioned, ATLA. So here, this is produced by the ATLA database. So it comes open, and you'll need to click it a second time. At this point, this takes you to the ATLA Scripture Search, and now we can see the books of the Bible listed in order.
Okay.
Now, this particular search looks for a verse that is included in an article in any way. So if we're going to look for John 3:16 actually. So looking for John 3:16, we'll find articles that include John 3:16, not just exclusively on John 3:16. So we're going to scroll down. There's no fast way to do this. You have to just scroll page by page down.
All right.
And you'll see here we are passing through some other scriptures that are included in different versions of the Bible by different groups who hold some scriptures sacred that others do not.
Right.
Like the book of the Prayer of Manasseh. So if you see those things and you come from a a different point of view, from an evangelical point of view, you shouldn't be alarmed. It's just those are there.
Right.
So we come to John, we see the plus sign. We do not want to put a check in that because we'll be getting everything in the whole book of John. Okay. We're looking specifically for John 3:16. So here comes chapter 3. And now we'll scroll down again. So we've got verse 16 in our box, but now what do you say? What do we need to happen? We need to come to the top and say add to search.
Okay.
Because you think, oh, I put the checkbox in, why isn't it doing something? It's because you have to tell it the next step. Notice here at this point it's put in a specialized search, SR, John 3:16, so that's a scripture search looking inside the ATLA database for that particular information. We'll hit the search button.
All right.
And now you see we have a considerable number of items that cover John 3:16. They're highlighted, obviously, in the first one. We see John 3:16, but scrolling on down, you'll see that there are others that obviously might include John 3:16. So, where is that field coming from? How does it know to find that? That might be a question you'd want to know. Right, Jason? Well, how does it know where it's pulling this information from? So we'll click on the first one because it's very easy. We'll scroll down a little bit, and right here is where it's pulling our information from.
And that's sacred text citation. Okay.
So let's look at another one, just so we can perhaps see where it's pulling from, where it includes John 3:16. Let's try this one.
Okay.
This one also.
Okay.
Let's keep looking.
But I noticed there at the subjects, it also has Bible, John, theology. Yes. So maybe it will refer to more than just John 3:16 in the article. Is that possible, or
You're absolutely right. This article has subjects related to it. Obviously, it's John and theology, Gospels, sermon preparation, love, biblical teaching, and literary criticism. So, while you're looking for John 3:16, well, you can then determine what aspect of John 3:16 you want to know about.
Okay. There was one.
All right. So we are added an extra screen, and we will see in this one, perhaps because it says John 3:1 through 21 in the scripture sacred text citation. Here we see John 3:1 through 21.
Okay.
John 3:1 through 21. So, obviously, this article's not exclusively about John 3:16, but it does in some way treat it.
So the system is able to take your specific scripture and apply that to a range that scripture might fall within, as well as finding just that specific one.
That's correct.
Okay. That's good. That can be useful.
That is. Now there's another search you could do.
Okay.
Shall we go to it?
Sure.
We want to go back to our main screen, our main databases.
Okay.
No, we don't want to do that. I want to go back to the other search. We want to look at other things that are not, that are, we want to look at other things that include John 3:16 that are not in the ATLA database.
Okay. So is that the only way, using the scripture search, is that the only way to find resources that reference a specific scripture?
Well, certainly the ATLA Scripture Search is an excellent resource, including a big chunk of the material that will cover scriptures. But you can use our discovery platform as well to find other things that include John 3:16. It could be that there are some books and other types of material that deal with John 3:16, and let's take a look at that.
Okay.
By going, we're just going to do right here in our search field, John 3:16, a basic search.
Okay.
And we're getting quite a few items there. And I noticed the first one says John 3:16, and it is a bit of music. And you as a musician would say, okay, well, maybe I do want John 3:16 because I want something for the choir, or I want a performance, or I want to know what music was around. So let's look at this particular item. You can see that it covers John 3:16.
Okay.
And I notice it has other titles, John 3:16 here.
Okay.
So you can find that kind of material.
All right.
Let's look at a different result.
Oh.
You can find other media items
Things that are not only books.
that are right. So it depends upon what you might be interested in and what you might need. You might want to listen to a sermon on John 3:16
Okay.
because somebody gave you a clue or a hint that there's lots of good stuff by various speakers that could be useful to you.
Okay.
And you can also see that there are other items that are probably coming from the ATLA Religion Database as well.
Right.
So we'll take one, for example, and pull it open.
Okay.
And here it's also taking the John 3:16 from the sacred text.
Okay. All right. So when you do a search from a general search box, then you not only are accessing those kind of subject headings that the scripture search kind of uses, but also you're getting keyword searching. You would also probably be getting content. So if there's a content note regarding something, maybe a chapter from a book or a subject heading, I know in music, when I have dealt with the cataloging pieces of music for a choir, sometimes we would use a specific subject heading for a scripture verse, which also indicates that it's a musical setting and not just a literary text. And so the general search has a much broader scope when it is pulling results based on that scripture, as opposed to the scripture search, which is really narrowing it down to articles, or at least material in journals that can be referenced that way. So,
Right.
okay.
I think the ATLA Scripture Search is a marvelous invention by the theological librarians. There are other resources that we want to encourage our viewers to contact the librarians for extra help in, because there is Old Testament abstracts, New Testament abstracts that run a little differently. There's some other deeper searches that could be done that you can help them with, or I can help them with.
Okay.
So, depending upon the level of or the depth, shall we say, how much do they want to get? Go for that to start with, and if they want to be very inclusive and get as much as they can on it because they're doing a doctoral project or something or writing an article, then we need to talk to the librarian and find out what else is available.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Craig, for introducing us to the ATLA Scripture Search, how it works, and the benefits that it can give to somebody who's performing research in that area. And I look forward to actually being able to play around with something like this in my own research soon. But thank you very much for stopping by and visiting with us for Not Only Books, and we'll see you next time.